live?
We're live. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the monthly active users podcast, M.A.U. Your host Michael, your host Wayne. Jamie, unfortunately, had to let him go as a CEO.
Oh,
Sometimes you got to
what?
make tough decisions.
When did
Um,
this happen?
just like listen, man. Again, since you're not C-suite, Wayne, these
Oh
decisions had to be
my
announced
God.
to the company. I haven't announced it yet. But yeah, I just didn't appreciate at the speed Jamie was shipping. They're shipping too much. Jamie was going in customers' repos and making sure that customers weren't paying the maximum sized bill. That just can't happen. You know what I mean? Like if people don't have optimized use of Convex, then that's more money for us. And as a business, I'm going to maximize profits. Um, and yeah, so that's what's happened. How you been, Wayne? Hearing this news, especially. And Jamie's here.
Hey everybody, what I miss?
Jamie, you miss everything. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, what were you guys talking about? Just out
No,
of
we were just
curiosity.
talking about the amazing work that
AI,
you
right?
and the
AI.
team. No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
No.
We were just talking about the amazing work that you and the team have been doing. Um, we
Yeah,
appreciate your leadership, obviously
that's
as a
right.
CEO. Yeah.
Yeah.
Continued leadership, right? Not just
Continue.
recently terminated. Yeah.
Oh,
This is
Oh,
this is
man.
what I get for having to run to the bathroom. Is I
This
get this
listen,
kind of
if you're not
treatment.
on it, a new model just dropped while you went to the washroom. You
They
have to
have
be on
said
it
you got to
nowadays.
be in it to win it, is what they say. So I guess I deserve this for this 4 minute break.
And not
Jay.
only that, I feel personally attacked. I don't know, Wayne, if you saw his tweet recently, but he
Oh,
blocked a specific keyword.
yes.
And half of my tweets contain that keyword. So I don't know if this was like a subtle jab or like maybe we can hear from you, Jamie. Like, what's the thought process behind that? Is that like a filtration process? Like, what's going on?
I've recently been taught the phrase "just two birds, one scone." Is that the? You know what, Mickey? Sometimes things have more benefits than you anticipated. So it's just it's how life works out sometimes.
Yeah.
I actually and you know what's funny is I actually didn't see that reply. That's hilarious. That Leo did. Like, yeah,
He said, "Bro,
uh,
you're cooked if you do
you're
that."
cooked if you do that. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
Well, the
Uh,
X team is working. The X
yeah,
team is working. Well,
you all might have a different attitude about this, but I have an extremely complicated relationship with Twitter, right? Because
mm,
I I love the energy, right? And
mhm.
but at the same time, it can be highly distracting from most of the time. Best way for you to make progress today is to put your head down and work on the idea you were pretty sure was always already a good idea. And so but Twitter was like with everything being cooked or cooking or we're not going to make it or it's on or it's just such an emotional roller coaster.
yeah,
So
it definitely is a distraction because, like to your point, and I've experienced this before too, where I'll have a bright idea, I'll start working on it, and it's exciting, it's fun, it's cool, and then you reach that point where it stops being fun and like you have to get the nitty gritty stuff done, and then you see on X, oh, someone just dropped an OpenClaw wrapper, where like you can one click deploy, and he just hit 4K MRR, and then you're like, man, like my product is no longer viable, I should jump on that wave, and then you jump on that wave, and by the time you're done, something else is dropped, right? So I think it's definitely there's like a lot more noise than signal. I think is a great place for signal, but there's a lot more noise. I personally don't have the app on my phone. I just have it on
that's
the
smart.
computer,
That's
right?
really
Because the
smart.
phone is very easy for me to pick up and to think. So I don't have it on my phone. That way,
I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have to do that. That's a really good tip. It's just
yeah,
take it off the phone because it's too easy to just constantly check it and be like, "What happened in the last 5 minutes?" And
yeah,
it's okay if it's just what happened in the last 2 hours. Like that's often enough.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I have this love-hate relationship with Twitter, and I joke with people about it that because I've been on it so long, I don't want to say how long I've been on Twitter, but like
Yeah.
since the beginning. And I look at the DMs is stands for deals made, right? Because yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I would like that's what the DMs is for. Like I built so many relationships partnership opportunities, like life changing, like people got jobs, introduce people. All that happens in the DMs. Even like people will be guests
Why do
on
I get
the
crypto
show.
scams then? You get deals made, I get crypto scams. What's going on?
Hey,
What's wrong with
that's
my DMs?
what vibes you putting out in the world?
I mean, like you tell me.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
might need to look in the mirror at that one. Yeah, you're right.
This is
but
cooked.
but
This is
I agree
cooked.
100%. It could be super distraction. I forgot who the person did the post recently. It's the person who did that post about how to change your life in a day, a year, or whatever. And he basically said like the new flex is going to be how well you can focus. And this goes back to
Yeah.
the conversation, Jamie, we had at all hands a couple weeks ago about um, are you making the right decision to have the biggest impact at the moment? Because how so easy it is to like, oh, you have an idea now, but ship it, pop, pop in cursor, Claude, or whatever. Just build it right now. So you got to focus. So the same thing with Twitter. It's like be mindful of the energy, what's happening in the world, but how can you like schedule time to focus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I do want to, I know we have an agenda, but I do want to like interject and talk about one topic real quick.
Go.
I've recently been OpenClaw pilled. Been using it last couple of days. Also spoke on
Mhm.
an event. We could talk about that later. But one thing I've realized is like there's seems to be like a lot of like if developers were like at this level of panic, now it feels like they're at this level of panic. And obviously certain things are overblown, but I think we've reached an inflection point where you kind of realize, oh, like things are changing. Like this is not something that's going to die down, and in 2 months, like we're going back to how things used to be. So I guess, like Jamie, for you in particular, since you've been a dev for a very okay, I don't want to say very long time, but you've been a dev for some time.
It's okay.
Uh,
That's fair. That's fair.
but
Yeah.
since you've been a dev for some time, and I'm sure you've seen some highs and lows, like I genuinely feel like the maybe computer science student who's about to graduate and all he or she knows is Java, or the person who has like 2 years of experience, they're not mid-level yet, they're kind of junior, but they're on their way to mid-level, and now everything has been swallowed and been taken up by AI. And it feels like the only people generally writing code are people at like the lowest level of the stack for AI stuff like Convex or like a DB provider, stuff like that. It feels like most SaaS apps, majority of the code has been written by AI. That all being said, if I was a computer science student right now, my 4th year, or I'm 2nd year, mid-level, junior level, not even mid-level, what do I do, right? Like, because it just feels like AI has swallowed everything, and my career expectations have totally changed.
Mhm. Yeah. I can make some shit up, and I'm happy to do it. It's a podcast, right? But I think the most honest, I hear we're podcasting, so here
Yes.
comes the
And
bullshit,
people,
right?
and here's the thing, people with mics tend to say stuff that's outlandish. I don't know if you all seen this
Yeah,
one
yeah.
clip. This one woman said, don't love your job, job your love.
I'm just not even gonna turn on my thing for that one. Like, yeah, I could already tell that's a leave it behind kind of moment right there. Yeah, don't look too closely at that. Um, I mean, the short answer is James and I have been talking about this for 2 years because we're actually pretty worried that we feel like we don't know what the answer is, and like as people that are I mean, legitimately one of the things we've always enjoyed the most is like working with more junior people and mentoring people, and like I don't completely know now. I think there is a question about like how do you develop the like architectural skills to make the models successful, um, and to me that is one of the bigger unknowns. And but I don't want to be like just like grumpy old man on the porch being like it's just not going to happen anymore, like the sky is falling. There probably will be new ways we discover to like help like build that muscle. It's just the ways, I think the way I learned to do it right was a lot of time with keyboard under fingers, writing a lot of code the wrong way and then seeing it blow up, right? And so I think the question is like, how do you develop these like higher level skills to know how to set up edge cases and architecture and like and modularity and all these things that LLMs really do need for, especially for complicated things that have consequences. How do you develop all those skills without having just done the grind on a long time on just writing a whole lot of bad systems by hand? and I don't know yet what the answer is. I'm guessing we'll be able to develop some like higher level tools, probably with the help of AI, to kind of talk
Yeah.
through. I mean, one of the things we think about a lot at Convex is systems now might have to just help account for this, that people won't be
Yeah.
as good at it, right? Like James is kind of talking about it recently, but I think he's basically right. Like one of the biggest responsibilities that Convex can now have, and one of the best ways it can add value, is to just make it so that you fall into the success so that you don't have to be good at these things anymore,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think it's similar. I always go back to like when compilers replaced assembly language programming, right? Like people would say, oh no, how are people going to know now how to write efficient machine code? And the truth is, well, it didn't matter as long as the compilers really made the problem go away, right? That you just, it took care of that part for you at some level, you know. So maybe there's two answers, right? One is like what honest answer is I don't know, right? And maybe there'll be new ways we develop this expertise. But the second answer, which might be more human centered, is that people don't want to be good at that anymore, or they don't need to be good at that as long as the tools and platforms under them can make it so they don't have to know these things increasingly in the future. And like, I think we're realizing maybe that's one of the jobs of Convex moving forward is, yeah, make it so that good architecture happens automatically so that you don't have to understand it anymore in the future as a builder. Right.
Do you
Does that make
do you think?
sense? I don't know if I answered the
No, no.
question, but like,
I don't know is the best answer. Because like
I, I,
contrary to
I,
the
yeah, the
con-
pessimistic side of me thinks it's going to be more the second thing because I don't know if you all have noticed this, right? But like human nature is like inherently lazy, right? Like
Mhm.
in a good way. Like we spend no energy we don't have to,
Yeah.
eventually, right? And so I think that, you know, for a while, people will wield this stuff and still know how to do the architecture, and then eventually the tools and platforms will figure out how to like make it so the LLMs can only make good architecture, and then the people won't have to know anymore, and it will only be like a curiosity thing, like a hobby, as opposed to a necessity for the profession. You know,
Now, a
uh,
flip question: is it worth someone getting a CS degree now, like into like today? Like, let's say I'm starting September. Is it worth getting a CS degree with all the advancements that have been made?
I think that CS degrees, actually what they usually do is if you haven't already become a good abstract thinker, they help you figure that out. The technology they teach you, to even 25 years ago when I was, it wasn't relevant then either, right? So that part
Yeah.
hasn't changed, right? It feels like the CS departments are always 10 years behind, 15 years behind what your job will look like. So in the late 90s, I was going to take a job writing Perl or Python as a web developer, but you know, I was learning assembly languages that Knuth designed in the 70s or whatever, you know. And so even
Yeah.
then I'm like, well, this isn't what my job is, right? But it was more about teaching me to be a good abstract thinker. So it's probably still like worth it in terms of like it teaches you to push through pain and to be good at abstract thinking. I'm not sure it's ever been particularly directed about what your job will look like. If anything, your internships while you were in school were much
Yeah.
more useful to understand what your job would look like, and those only had a loose relationship to what you were studying at school. So
Yeah.
that, yeah. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe it's as worth it as ever.
Yeah,
So
because
and
I get a lot of DMs like contrary to the crypto jokes. And it's a lot of like, oh, I'm in my fourth year or I'm a junior about to be mid level and like I'm not sure what to do. And to me, like again, I don't know either. If I were in that position, I would just still do the old school route, read the books and all that. Cause I think, yeah, as good as AI is, I still think there are a lot of companies that are not like we're in our own little bubble, right? Like
mhm.
I went to an event, to the OpenClaw event, and maybe we could talk about that. And there were people who are like, yeah, I haven't touched cursor or any of this stuff, right? So I think a large majority of development that's happening is still very much like Java, Spring Boot, all that type of stuff. So I still think there is time. Um, but also at the same time, when Dario, the CEO of Anthropic, said, "Oh, in 6 to 12 months, most of the code being written will be written by AI." I remember making fun of him for that. I'm like, "Yeah, look at him trying to pump the stock. He kind of didn't lie, and the stock did pump. So either way, he got it right both times. So I think, yeah, it is a scary time for like most, I would say, not experienced devs. And yeah, I guess you just got to go with the times and be malleable
Yeah.
and and figure it out as you go, because I don't know
Yeah,
either.
yeah, Mickey, I saw this post. It was about saying that the skill that you have to develop is a mindset of being like a managing an orchestra, right? Like I forgot what's that role called? The person with the you
Oh,
know,
the mm,
yeah, yeah,
mhm,
yeah, yeah,
mhm,
like that
mhm.
person, right? It's
Those
like
guys are always so cool. Like, because you're like
yeah,
at one point they'll
Conductor.
like,
the
yeah, they'll hold
conductor,
it up, they'll hold it up,
yeah.
and then they'll be like that, and everybody stops. That's power. That's power
Yeah,
right there.
right. And so like it was saying like that's the mindset of developers going to the future. The mindset of a conductor, right? They know how things work. They know how to bring the right people together to like to have the success they want. But they're not necessarily writing code. They're like each person now who's playing the instrument is an agent. So they're the developer, they're the conductor, they're managing all these different agents to make this beautiful experience, which is the application, and so forth. And so I'm with you all. Like don't know. We don't know. Like just we didn't know 2026 is gonna be like it is, and we only in February, so everything could change in another 2 months. But I do think like the developers or you think about taking a C have getting a CS degree or whatever, having a conductor type mindset is key. Also connected to just continue building up your critical thinking skills. That's going to be good whether you're doing CS, you're doing going to like anything in life and business. So that's got to look at like where we are in terms of like software development.
Jamie, was that your keyboard?
Yeah.
Whose keyboard was that? That had to be the most mechanical keyboard of life.
Sorry, I'm struggling here a little bit because my internet keeps doing stuff. So I'm over here writing
No, you're
ping
good.
commands, and so anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I honestly like I'm pretty skeptical of this. This is maybe a hot take, but like it's kind of like we were talking about last time. I think the whole conductor like swarm thing. I don't buy it.
Can I tell you
Yeah,
what I do
like
buy? Can I tell you what I buy?
yeah,
I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
look, I watched iRobot a couple days ago because like I had to like remind myself of what the future is gonna look like. I don't. It's either we continue as we are, or the robots run everything. I set up OpenClaw to jump into the next topic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it sincerely clicked. It clicked because I was like, oh, like I realized like, oh, I was using a bunch of tools to manage my life and all these different things, and like I can have like this one central place where I can talk to it and it can do stuff. And underlying, even though it's called autonomous, it's just a giant system with cron jobs, right? So it has this thing called a heartbeat. Every 15 minutes, it checks its memory, checks all the chats it's had, and then it tries to cleverly suggest the things that you should do, checks on you and stuff like that. But then I thought about this. Technically, we have a heartbeat too. Ours is like every second. Isn't that technically a cron job? Because the moment the heartbeat stops, you're kind of done, right? So what does it mean to be autonomous? Is a philosophical question I started to get into, and to me, it feels like autonomy. True autonomy is the ability to have free will to make decisions how you please. And every robot movie, show, Terminator, that's the outcome of it all. So I say that all to say I agree with you, Jamie. I think the robots are taking over. I think AI is taking over. Forget conductor, man being in the center. I think the AI takes over.
Wait, you just went from
Uh,
zero to
I
like
yeah,
a whole nother.
that was a wild ride, Mickey. I don't think the AI is taking over, but I think that we're all going to be very confused for 10 years to what to
Yeah,
do with all this stuff.
yeah.
Because
Sorry,
you know
I'm
what's
switching onto
Also,
my hotspot. This is bad enough. I'm going hotspot here, so keep
no,
going.
okay.
no, you're good. No,
But
but
one
like
second, one
it's
second, Mickey. I believe you have mentioned iRobot on every single M.A.U. episode we've had since we
because
started.
no. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because you watch these movies back in the day. It didn't really mean nothing, right? Because it was
Hmm.
sci-fi. Or it was like futuristic. We ain't too far off. Like, you know
True.
what I mean? Like my open claw, like every before I go to bed, tells me to have a wonderful night and like says
Yeah,
nine. Like it's not far off. And like people say, oh, these agents are not autonomous. What is autonomy though? Right?
yeah.
If it's a cron job hitting every 15 minutes, if that's different from my heart being hit every second, I'm failing to lose, and maybe I've gone a little crazy. I'm failing to lose what the definition of autonomy is, um, in this
But you
age.
also you onto something with the cron jobs, Convex, heartbeat. Like you onto something there. I don't know what it is. We're gonna think about it, but you onto something there. You're on
I'm
the
telling you,
subject.
I might write a book. But I've used OpenClaw. I did an event. It was actually funny. Convex is very famous in Toronto. So I go to this event, and a lot of people either knew me from YouTube or they knew me from Convex. So they knew me from Convex, meaning they didn't know me from YouTube, or they knew me from YouTube. And the amount of people are like, yeah, man, I use Convex. And what's interesting about the conversation is every time they mention they love Convex, it doesn't end there. There's always the one thing that they mention that they love. And the same thing that was repeated again and again and again is that everything is TypeScript. I don't have to write this, I don't have to write that. So everyone was talking about Convex was very exciting. Yeah, that's very true. Once you try Convex, you're into it. You're all in one backend. We call it the Convex pill. And there was some interesting OpenClaw uses, Wayne. One guy was using it to
Nice.
plan his baby's birth. Someone else
What?
was yeah, like helped him buy a stroller, helped him like buy a car. Like it was some cool stuff. And then everyone like had like legitimate use cases, and there was me telling people, "Oh, I built a GTA for for OpenClaw agents." But what was interesting is a lot of people were impressed by it because I told them it was fully built on Convex, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, it was a great time. Interested to hear, Wayne. I know you've been using OpenClaw. Jamie, have you been using OpenClaw?
I set it up uh, before it was cool. Before it was cool,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, I did.
Moltbot. You did
Yeah.
Moltbot.
Oh no, I it was before
No,
Moldbot. I did
yeah.
Claudebot. I was legit.
Cloudbot. Okay.
Yeah,
OG.
yeah. I installed it a few weeks ago, but to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, I shot it in the head because I was too scared of it. So it is gone now.
Okay,
And I have
so the
replaced it.
movie stuff I've been saying is not crazy then. Why did you shoot it, good sir?
Jamie shut it
It's
down.
the amount of risk is unbounded on this thing,
That's
right?
what
So
I'm
like,
telling
yeah,
you.
but what I have done is I created my own equivalent of it, kind of using just using an open code environment and a custom agent, and all of the like access to the world stuff is mediated via a tool that hides secrets from it unless I grant them on a very granular basis and for a time limited thing. So they're not on the file system in clear text. They can't just be read by even if the bot decides to get resourceful, like it can only do things that I've given it access to for a time limited amount of time. So I thought it was a cool enough idea that I created one of them that it was in a sandbox that was locked down a lot more.
Yeah.
And I use that constantly. So as opposed to checking 5 different systems, I can just ask it high level questions, kind of learns the things I usually want to know, and it will answer those things very quickly and pull all the data together. And so yeah, I love the concept. I think and also just to give like Pete some credit, like he kind of meant it as a crazy experiment, right? Like the open claw way is maximum danger version of this, which is like, what if it by default could just do anything to the file system and store any credentials and sign up for anything? And I think that's such a cool idea. I want to try it, but because I want to really try it, I can't possibly give it that much freedom. So yeah, that's kind of my relationship, I guess, to things like OpenClaw.
Hey, I hear
Yeah.
from I heard on the Lex podcast. He was on the Lex podcast. It looks like a cloud's going to like it's going to stay open source, but looks like he's going to work with either OpenAI or Meta. Curious to hear, especially Wayne, since you love everybody and no one can do wrong. Curious to think if you guys were in his shoes, which provider would you pick? And if they're an
Oh,
investor, don't answer the question.
oh, if I was in his shoes, between OpenAI and Meta, I'm going OpenAI, right? And the reason why is I feel like if he goes to Meta, he has a bigger ship to fix, right? In terms of the AI space, it is a great opportunity, but like it's a different ship and a different level of responsibility of like you go to Meta, are you going to run the whole AI labs? Are you going to be the person responsible for like Meta's future with like Glass, with the social network, with all that? I don't. I don't want to deal with all that. Right? To me, that's like social web. That's like a lot of legacy, like culture and different, directions that I don't know what Meta's going to land at. Well, OpenAI, at least I feel like, okay, I got a chance to do something wild with kind of a frontier who has a couple great products and more developer focused. That's kind of where I'm going. I'm going OpenAI if I'm Paul, if I'm Peter.
Jamie, unless there's investor relations that might get affected. So
Sorry, guys. Here comes it's a look at cameras coming. Get ready.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
These are both excellent companies and great business partners.
What a CEO answer! I love
that. That was my. Sorry for that hot take. I know it came in red hot.
That was spicy.
That was perfect. Spicy. That was perfect.
Yeah. I'm gonna hear about that one. I'm gonna hear about that one.
That might go trending.
That was perfect.
That might be go trending.
That was perfect. But yeah, I would have. That was perfect, James. That was perfect. But
it's with Sam and Zuck. It's just hard to pick between two people you admire so deeply. So I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Mickey, one minute. I want to call out something right quick. So back in the day, I've got some stories to tell, right? So back in the day, I was at Facebook and with a group of people, and this is like old Palo Alto Office Facebook 1 before Meta. And I made a mistake. I was looking down at my phone. Of course, I was looking at Twitter, and I was with a group of people, and Mark Zuckerberg literally walked right past me, and everybody was like, "Yo," and I'm like, "What?" It's like, there he is. I'm like, what? And so I missed him, right? And then I was told that, okay, his friends call him Zuck. They don't call him Mark. They don't call Mark Zuckerberg. They call him Zuck, right? That's what it says, Zuck.
Yeah, that's what we call him.
Right? But like Jamie just like, yeah, I'm not going to give an answer. I'm going to say Sam and Zuck. So yeah. It sounds like Jamie's on first name basis with Sam and Zuck.
That's why I didn't give an honest answer. The three of us are going out drinking tonight. I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Low-key hot take, I would have picked Zuck if I was in that position.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. If you look at the career of Zuck, Facebook, all these things, Zuck moves like a mob boss. And let me explain. I remember when Snapchat was the hottest thing, and then he tried to acquire, and they said no. And then what did they do? They dropped Instagram stories. And I remember people being like, no, this is terrible. I'll never leave Snapchat, this, that, and the third. Now, look at Snapchat. Still a great product, but I'm pretty sure Instagram has won that. The WhatsApp acquisition, the Twitter, Twitter was popping. It didn't work out. Like, they built Threads. A lot of people make fun of Threads, but there's a lot of users on Threads. Like, a lot of, I don't know any tech people, but I go to church or talk with people, they're on Threads. And then you look at buying Instagram at $1 billion, and they were 3 months old or 90, however long old. So to me, the biggest L he's taken thus far was the metaverse thing, the NFT stuff. But other than that, Zuck's is he just doesn't die. And if you've been in the game long enough.
To your point, you made both Jamie. The best point.
Jamie made the most critical point ever.
But Mickey, to your point, historically, you're 100% right about Zuck, right? About Meta. But in the last 4 years, I think since the pandemic, the VR worlds, Oculus, the Meta glasses, that has been popping off.
I agree. And you know what? Maybe he's just chilling right now. But I feel like the llama models are so bad that he has to wake up. At some point, Zuck has to wake up.
The question is I want to be talking about other people's money. I don't like talking about OPM. Who's throwing the B at Peter? That's got to be the question. That'll be the question. Now, Peter, I'm like, who's throwing me the B? Right? Who's throwing me the B? I'm like, all right.
I'm telling you, I think Zuck's offer more money. Because let me tell you why. Because OpenAI, first of all, I don't know how deals work, but I'm sure it's a mix of cash and stock, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That OpenAI stock is valuable, so maybe I might take that actually.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's
bring on Mr. Paul. Paul is actually blown up on Twitter.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
I thought that was Paul for a second, but it was Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie's back. Paul, is you ready? All right, let's do it.
Wait,
what's
are
up?
you guys in the same background?
Jamie, you're in my house, bro. It's just over there.
What's up, Paul? Thanks for coming, man.
No worries. Yeah, thanks for having me on. We're in the same Airbnb.
That's right.
Yeah.
We just both love this place, you know. So we decided to split it. It felt like the right thing to do.
It makes sense. It
Oh,
makes sense.
man.
Pretty large area. It's funny how both of y'all have like the same exact pool as well. We love it. We love it. But Paul, yeah, tell us what you're building, man. I've seen you on Twitter. I see you're a big fan of Convex. Would love to see what it is you're cooking.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. I see you as well. Love right back at you, man. Cool. So I didn't see Jamie's presentation, so I'm not sure how this goes, but I'm just gonna share my screen. If you guys
Okay.
have questions, fire it away. That's the best way to do it.
All right.
But I'm a huge fan of Convex.
All right, bet.
I'm gonna share my screen if that's cool. So I built this thing called
Cutting out.
Clunkbot.
Jim, is that me or is Paul
Right.
cutting out?
So Clunkbot is essentially. Oh, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now. You were cutting up really hard for a second.
All right, Paul, cut the video and then just talk over the. Turn off your video. Can you talk over the demo? Wait a minute. Are you good?
Are we good now?
I think
Is
so.
it working? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet. Sorry, technical issues. I think I'm on MacBook Air, so maybe that's why it's struggling right now. Okay. Cool.
All right.
So, everyone hear me? Okay. Everyone can see.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So Clunkbot is the fastest way to build an MVP right from Twitter. So essentially you tag it in any idea. So you see like these idea guys on Twitter or be like, you know, build me something or like, this is a great idea to build. And Clunkbot only needs to be tagged for it to work in the background and build everything out using kind of a custom Claude code. But you see here as an example, I want to show, it uses Convex as a real backend, right? So if it wants to create, if anyone wants to create kind of a simple MVP that's already got backend and auth, and you want to like quickly fire off an idea, you can do that right away. And then you have a fully deployed app as well, and it's fully working. So this one is completely random, but this one is like, it's kind of a nice design, not gonna lie. And it's one prompt, by the way. So it's come a super long way where it can just kind of work on its own and just build it with one prompt. But yeah, it's not just a prototype. So it's like a full stack web app. It can do 3D games as well. So this is like a nice website. For example, kind of looks like the OpenClaw one, Cloudbot before, but then some people have built and used it to make, of course, some cat meme landing pages, right? But then there's also games that people have made. So there's this one here. I'm not sure I hope this is coming through on the stream, but
You see it.
yeah, so you can like, I'm really bad at this one, but you can like essentially just make, everyone knows vibe coding, but this is like, you just do it for you, right? And then you can pick it up with a link. So every single thing that's posted here, for example, like this one by Alex, he has some banger ideas sometimes. So kind of like someone just tagged Clunkbot to build this idea of quitting any one of these things. So then they tagged it and then it built out this page. And then you can contribute to it with GitHub. So you can just git clone and you can continue to build off of it. But then there's this one, which is the actual page it built. It's using Convex as the backend. So everything here has the full power of Convex, which is amazing. And then you can, essentially it's the working app, right? So you can just go ahead and use that.
Wow.
Yeah. Guys, any questions?
Oh,
How long did
very
it take
cool.
you? Yeah, this is
Very
look
cool.
six. Like, what gave you the idea of like the Twitter? Because that's the cool part for me. Like, you add it and then it builds, and then I have a repo and I can fork and just build off of it. Like, what was the inspiration for that?
Yeah, it was just OpenClaw, I think, blowing up, and I was like, I want this to be an autonomous thing, and I was like, what if I just give it all my ideas? And then I was like, wait, what if I just give it for people to use, right? So I was like, what if you can just go from like a tweet to a deployed app? And I was like, surely that's possible. So I was like, hey, Claude, can you make this thing a reality? And then in a few days, it was first one is like in the same evening I had something out, but it looked ugly and it didn't have convex. Then the next day, it started blowing up, and I was like, oh, I need to add convex because surely convex is so easy to implement for Claude that it's not going to have any issues, and then people will have auth and a backend right from the get go. And I think that's where it was. People were loving it a lot more because now they kind of have the hard part already taken care of, which is get the auth and get the backend working. And hopefully this actually brings more people to Convex as well, because um, some of the posts that I made, switching from Superbase and the likes, and that actually blew up quite a bit because not too many people were aware of Convex. But honestly, this is only possible because of how easy that the team have made it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear, man. And you said you're using because someone asked what LLM are you using. I'm assuming Opus is what you're using or Sonnet.
Yeah, 4.5 at the moment. Yeah.
4.5, 4.5.
4.6 tends to go a little bit like too much. It overthinks. It questions everything.
Yeah, it is very much an aggressive model. I have no other questions. I'll pass it off to you, Wayne or Jamie. But this looks awesome, Paul. And I love that you used Convex, obviously.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, my biggest question was just the one you asked, Micky, was just like, how did you come up with this idea, which is so cool. But yeah, I just love the, I guess, the way it encompasses the era of speed we're in so much right now that like even a tweet is sufficient to like make a thing spring into action, which is pretty incredible. So do you have like any places you want to take this, or you just kind of was just sort of an experiment to see like what was possible?
Yeah, I want to keep pushing this. So I want to see if I want to make it easier for people to kind of build on top. So I've been building something for the last 2 months, which adds on top of it as well, which is I could share my screen as well to show it, but essentially it's a Mac app. Let me see if I can share my screen. But essentially it's a Mac app that uses your existing Claude code or ChatGPT subscription. And it just makes it a little easier to use versus using the terminal. So I have a different version of Clunkbot in here where it runs autonomously and it builds full stack applications as well overnight. But it uses as well Convex. So it's a lot easier to actually have that loop running. I don't know if you guys remember like Ralph loops.
Yeah.
So it's using like a modified version of that. So I dove into the docs and I had like not reverse engineer, but like look through and how to kind of use it. I also looked at the chef documentation and how Convex was being used there. But that kind of led to building something like this, where this is essentially like the Codex app that was released by OpenAI. But this is using like you can use Cloud Code, you can use Codex, and you can continue building on the thing that Clunkbot just built. But what is cool is if we want to like create a new project, you can actually use the power of Convex to start off with a full stack mobile app or full stack web app, and it's gonna do all of the setup for you, and I'm gonna like initiate the project, and then you can continue to use the Cloud Code or Codex to build out the project as well. It has all of the like Convex skills as well, and the templates. So it's already preloaded. You have everything kind of ready to go as well.
Yeah.
Man, it's moving really fast. It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice. This
So
is
Paul,
good.
we appreciate you, man. Make sure to follow him on X, guys. It's right on the screen. But Paul, keep shipping, keep using Convex. And yeah, I've seen the tweets. You're a big fan of Convex, and we appreciate you. And if there's any ever feedback, always feel free to DM me, and we'll make sure something happens.
Yeah. Well, Paul's already had one. He already has one request. What do you need, Paulus?
Yeah. So if Clunkbot, right at the moment, there's 140 projects on one account, right? So at the moment, for the pro plan, it's 140 project limit for Clunkbot. But I think Clunkbot will need a bigger limit for projects on the pro accounts, so it can keep shipping more apps.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so
we can work that out. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take that back and we'll discuss that, Paul.
Cool. Yeah, we
Open
do
the
have
floodgate.
people with tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of deployments, so it's definitely a thing we can fix. So
Yeah. All right.
cool.
We take care. And for those who don't know, Paulus, he's also a Convex hackathon winner. Won a couple of hackathons prizes last year, and yeah, been doing some good work on Convex. As you see, he hasn't just started. That hasn't just started. So we appreciate you. Thanks for the tweets. Thanks for the love, and we see you in the DMs.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, Paul.
Take care.
Thanks.
So a couple things. First and foremost, we giving out 140 in the pro plan. Cut it to 50, man. This company is a little too generous. Listen, shareholder value. By the way, did you guys hear my soundboard that I've been did anyone hear that?
No.
Okay, I configured it wrong. I've been playing memes the whole time. Never mind. But yeah, shout out to
Jamie. You probably said last week.
No, because I thought it was set up properly. You guys didn't hear anything. But yeah, shout out to Paul. Speaking of models, Codex, Spark, and I'm pretty sure we've all spent time using 5.3 and Opus. Would love to know, starting with you, Wayne, because you can't stop shipping, and maybe you can share with us any of the new apps you've built recently. But what's your go-to model now? What's Wayne's main model?
So I went to 4.6, but to the point that that y'all just made, I've noticed that 4.6 does go a little rogue. It's like 4.5 do exactly what I would tell it to do. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. 4.6 tries to let me add this flavor. Let me put this also. I'm like, wait a minute, slow down. I didn't tell you to get. I didn't tell you to commit. I didn't tell you to change this line. Just do what I say. So I'm 4.6, Opus 4.6, and I want to share something I built over the weekend because we have two things. One, we launched a program called Convex for Claw. Here's me shilling right now. And so if you're building anything with OpenClaw, you can apply for credits. Claw Hub uses Convex. Mission Control, who was on the show, he was on the show last week, which is he already generated, I think 100. He's at 100K in ARR already from 1 week with Mission Control. Anyway, so we have a Convex for Claw program, and last weekend I was like, can we have OpenClaw, but in the cloud, all in Convex and kind of more like different, like secure? So I built this landing page and had a contest where if you build this out, get some swag and gift, but it's basically OpenClaw on Convex in the cloud. So
sick. Wait, Jamie, there is one thing. I know we have our weekly chats, but there's one thing I want to complain about. Wayne does not allow me to take part in any. Oh, and he turned himself off. He does not allow me to take part in any of the hackathons we host. And I just think it's not fair, especially the ones where there's money being given out. Can we change that? Is that policy?
No. Yes. What? No. Yeah, you can't. I mean, that's cheating.
You know what's funny? The there's a hackathon I won. Like there's two in Toronto. There's one I won.
Yeah.
I registered because they were doing a new one. They blocked my application.
Oh, really? Oh, that's messed up.
They blocked
Yeah.
my application.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's not fair.
I certainly have no interest in blocking you from winning other hackathons, but I mean,
Yeah,
half the
just can't get
time,
a
we need you to help judge the hackathons, which is someone calls conflict of interest.
Fair.
As you
Fair.
can imagine, if the optics are Convex
Yeah, it
is
would've
holding
looked too good.
hackathons, but giving its employees the winning prize, I'm
Like,
not sure how
oh,
much.
I worked
humanity
really
would love
hard. Yeah,
that.
100%.
Yeah.
Jamie,
Yeah.
it seems like from what I've seen, you're sort of Codex pilled now.
Well,
And I'd love to hear that. Yeah.
I mean, the little write up I did on Twitter the other day is like, this same parallel came up in another conversation, right? Where it's like something is better, but I like this one better. Those things can both be true, right? And so like, and it reminded me of some stuff that you guys have said to me because I hadn't used Codex as much. Like Micky, your thing about like your bedtime buddy, Codex.
It's Codex,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I have my modality because maybe I haven't trusted the models enough in the past. Have been this is only going to be an iterative experience, and when you're doing an iterative experience, I think the Anthropic models are much more fun to collaborate with because they get back to you quickly and like the thing they do is mostly right, but you can give feedback right away. And so ultimately, like the way I'd put it is you can stay in flow. Like I don't get bored and end up going, and I want to go watch a YouTube video or whatever, right? I feel like I can wait long enough and it doesn't ramble at me and copy and like it mostly just does the job. But the eye-opening thing about Codex is I realized that, yeah, if you treat Codex more as this asynchronous process, you can set it loose on something really big. And you are going to go take a walk or go take some tea, or of course, like we talked about last week, switch on to one of your other 11 projects. You're definitely
Yeah.
So then yeah, there is stuff that like I have found when I've given Opus something too big, it will not do that great of a work, and I almost need to just step through stuff with it. And Codex seems to do shockingly well at really complex, really big tasks, and so I just like them for different things, right? It's like what but for an average project, I would say more of my work these days is about Opus style jobs, like just pretty straightforward things I just want done quickly. I don't have too many like things where the Codex trade-offs feel like worth it for me. But I suspect if I was doing different kind of engineering, that was my main job as opposed to just being a founder and doing a million different things, I could definitely see trusting Codex more, for example, to take on a really big project inside of a complex Rust code base or something like that. Like I think Codex feels really good fit for that kind of work. That's just not what I do most of the time now. So yeah. But
you know what's funny? The streets are saying Codex is European and Opus is American.
Right. I kind of get that. Yeah. I mean, even though of course I resent it as an American, I resent that implication.
Wait a minute, say it again.
I don't know if Wayne's okay with it. Wayne might not be okay with it. So
listen, the streets are saying Codex is European, right? Very slow. This and Opus is like, America, freedom.
I'm leaving that one alone.
4.6 is a bit too spicy.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think spicy is the right word. But speaking of spicy, they raised 30 billion at a 380 billion valuation. Now, see, I've never raised money, but we're just throwing bees around like they don't matter. And I'm pretty sure they raised some money 3 months ago. So are they burning it? Did they just want it? Like what's like?
I think they're burning it. Yeah.
Like
the model race isn't over. So, my God, it's so expensive.
So by the time they go public, they're going to be $1 trillion company.
I just think it's weird that some people think Convex isn't that big of a deal because, like, they raised 30, but we raised 24.
24 million or billion, Jamie?
We don't. That's just details. We don't need to focus on that. Let's not obsess over minutia, okay? All I'm seeing is 30, 24.
24.
Right?
It's not that big of a difference. And to be honest, fair.
And I
Yeah.
acknowledge Anthropic is a slightly bigger deal than Convex. A 30 over 24 bigger deal. It's 25% bigger of a deal.
Honestly, I've never seen anyone ask for Anthropic merch or like
Yeah.
an Anthropic hat. Everyone's talking about Convex, right? Who
No.
watches an Anthropic stream, to be honest?
Yeah, we actually have a trade-in program where people give us their Anthropic gear for Convex stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah, if I'm ever in SF and you have Anthropic merch, bring it to the office.
That's right.
We'll swap it for
We'll
you.
swap it. Yeah.
The first person that brings their merch by Convex office, like DM us, DM me, Jamie's traveler, about to travel. Micky's in Toronto. The first person that brings their Anthropic merch by Convex office, they get something special. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Or
It better be washed,
or
though.
even
Don't-
better than that, maybe like an actual Convex competitor. If you bring a Convex competitor's merch,
Are we gonna do a bonfire?
and turn it in?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, we
That's
will meet
funny.
and exceed it. So, yeah.
But like
Oh.
to be frank, so you're telling me they're burning, and I get it. The like what you get in the Codex, like in the Claude plan, like the $100 to $200 plan. I definitely don't think they make money on that. So
yeah, and as far as I understand, which of course I'm not an insider. I don't know obviously exactly where all this money is going, but I certainly think they're losing money on inference to try to loss leader owning the tool. So again, so you fall in love with the tool, and that way you don't switch off of
yeah,
you stop switching off of Claude, right? Please stop switching off of Claude so that we can stop spending so much money making the next model that's 4% better than Opus and all, or sorry, than Codex and all the benchmarks. I think they really want to be able to slow that treadmill down, because I think most of the money still goes to developing the next model. I don't even think it's loss leadering the inference. I think it's model development is still really, really expensive. If you're one of the labs making like the state of the art models, I think those are still quite expensive to make. But who knows, right?
They seem to be on aggressive front. I don't know. I'm sure Americans, you guys probably saw the Super Bowl ad that they did, the little jab they took. It seems like, yeah. By the way, Jamie, there's an expense that I've registered. I hope you can take care of that. I was running Opus 4.6 overnight.
You were cheating on Codex? I thought Codex was your overnight. Were you running them in separate rooms? Separate rooms?
Was gonna throw some stock at me, please. I will never use Anthropic ever again.
You got your desktop over here. You put your laptop in the other room. Nobody has to know about anything.
No one needs to know. Like, there's no interconnectivity. Right. Everything's wired. But no, in all seriousness, I definitely think Anthropic. Like, there was a time where it felt like no one could catch up to OpenAI, and at least for models right now in terms of coding, it does feel like Anthropic is sort of in the lead with OpenAI sort of making strides with Codex. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, or I just know one thing: open code wins in all of this, because they're not model, like, what's the word? Model agnostic. They're not tied to a specific model.
Right.
The one thing I don't like about Codex is I can't use Opus, and the one thing I don't like about Claude Code is I can't use Codex. Right. So I think open code wins for this case, which I think, Jamie, that's your daily driver. But I do think Anthropic is the lead in terms of like models and even like Claude Code usage.
I think in practice that's probably true, and I do think that, like, my guess is, again, that both these labs are so talented at making these things, right? So they've tuned these models in some respects, I think, for different things, right? So, like, probably, again, sort of the Rust systems programmers like Codex better, right?
Yeah.
But I think for, Anthropic is pretty smart that most of the software that's getting written these days is product stuff and web stuff. And I think that Opus's approach is just more pragmatic for that kind of stuff. Like it turns out stuff quickly that's about right. And, like, for lack of a better word, has pretty good judgment. Like it's not over-engineered. It's not overwrought. It's about as much as you should do to, like, solve those problems quickly. And because of that, I think it has pretty good fit with what most developers are trying to make these days. Opus is a really good partner in that. Even if Codex is theoretically stronger at computer science, which I think it might be. It might not be in a way that kind of matters to the market as much as the trade-offs that the Claude team
No,
has made.
no, that
So,
makes sense.
all right,
And the
I
open
missed
source
that
models
comment.
are cooking. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have tried both GLM and Minimax. I I had a little insider access and got to use them early. But like I think the pace at which the Chinese open source models are catching up
Yeah.
is quite scary, and I'm a little surprised that all of them have decided to go open source. Versus, like, I don't think there's like a private Chinese lab that's on par.
Right.
Have you guys tried the
I-
open source models? Any thoughts on
Yeah.
why they're completely open source?
I do have a quick prediction, which goes back all the way to the Chef days when we built Chef, which is like, I still think the best thing for users, for developers, and I don't know if it will win because the labs are so powerful, but it might win because it's so compelling. Is a lot of people have been saying like, oh, have Opus do your plan and then have Codex build it, right? And like, and then if it's a simpler task, maybe have Sonnet do the plan and then have
Yeah.
QK2 build it, right? Like the eventually the tools that obscure away the models and use the right combination of models for the right part of the task, and then use that market power to price them all against each other because they're pretty interchangeable. Like that's honestly going to be the best tool for developers in the long run. I mean, that's really where I wanted to go with Chef. If we had kept investing in it, we might go back and build something like that someday. But I think this is kind of what AMP code is doing. For example, I've heard that once you start to abstract away the models and you're like, we're just going to solve the problem for software developers, using a blended set of expensive and cheap models that might come from any lab is ultimately probably going to be the thing that makes the best overall product, right? And
So
so I don't think we'll be like picking between models forever. I think like eventually the winning solution will just own that, and like it will just make software and use the right blend of the cheap open source models and the more expensive models for planning and de-risking and test design. Like that's probably the right solution to actually solve this problem in the long run once the product design is all there and implemented.
Makes sense. So like the model becomes like a low level part of the stack that's abstracted. What's funny though, Cursor did this first with auto mode. I don't know if again it was meant to save money so you don't spam like the really expensive models, but from my understanding, what Cursor was doing with auto was it would pick a specific model for like a specific task. Which again, shout out to Cursor for being first on this, but I do agree. I think guardrails matter a lot, and you see like a lot of these theories. Like some people like Opus is great at planning, and Codex is better at this. Kimi is great at this, and to your point, I think whatever harness or app that I'm using should abstract that away and should know what's best for what.
But that's going to cut. Jamie, I agree, and I hope that happens. But that is really going to cut into Anthropic and OpenAI's overall business model.
Yeah, they do not want that to happen. They do not want that to happen. And the way I've been even hurting Cursor and stuff like that, right, is that when you control, the labs do control the economics of the models, so they're able to loss leader it. And Cursor, to me, represents a company that they did so well, they hit massive scale really early on. But because they did massive scale, they also had massive costs. And the labs can decide not to cut them the deal that they will cut on Claude Code or whatever, right? And now it becomes incredibly difficult because you just can't offer the product that you know how to build better than anybody else because the economics just do not work for you, and they work for the labs. But having said that, the labs are going to do the Uber thing, right? Where like they bait and switch us, right? It's like once you win the market, now you raise the prices to what you actually make money on. And so anyway, we'll see how it all plays out. But I do know it would be best. It's part of why I did a tweet a while ago, like imploring people to use open code, because like we don't let the labs consolidate us onto one model. It's just not the best consumer outcome. Like it's much better to let them just compete in a commodity market and find tools that we really love and let those tools solve the problem, and then we just get to benefit from the economies of all the labs competing for the business of the tools. And because once they starve everybody else, we get locked into one provider. They won't have to innovate anymore on the surface because no one else is able to make this stuff anymore. So anyway, so I have to jump to a call. I'm sorry, you guys, but I have to jump into this.
I have to jump to that same.
This
call,
was fun.
CEO call.
Hi everyone. So yeah, go. Close some deals and raise some money. We could use another 6. We were 6 short, right? So we need 6
from
more.
the billion. Yes,
Yeah.
from the billion. From
All
the billion.
right, six, whatever. Like the details don't matter. You're an executive. Keep it high level. Just go get 6.
Yeah, MB, it's the same thing. 100%.
Same
Yeah, we'll
thing.
close up